I'm Dr. Carla Van La, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Erin McCrorey. We're putting together this little video especially for people who want to know more about joining PACFA, especially if those people are creative arts therapists, and especially if those creative arts therapists are new graduates with a Bachelor of Arts Therapy. Thanks for having a look. We want to acknowledge that we're joining from beautiful Boonwurrung country today, and we'd love to pay our respects to the Boonwurrung people, their ancestors and their elders, and we'd also love to extend that respect to all of the First People of the places that you're joining from or viewing from today. So welcome. As I said, I'm Dr. Carla Van La. I'm a creative arts therapist. I've been a professional registered creative arts therapist for over 20 years with a master's degree followed by a doctorate. And I recently chose PACFA as my professional home for lots of good reasons that we'll talk to you about today. And I am the convener of PACFA's College of Creative and Experiential Therapies. Hi. So this is Erin. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Erin McCrorey. I'm also an arts therapist, and most importantly, I am a recent graduate from the ICON Bachelor of Arts Therapy, or Art Psychotherapy, I think it might be called currently, and a recent registrant of PACFA as well. So hoping I'll be able to speak to the process of how I joined with PACFA.
Cool. Thanks, Erin. So we thought that to begin with, might just give you a quick little look at a couple of websites as part of orienting you to the landscape of counselling and psychotherapy, including creative and experiential therapies in Australia today. So this is the PACFA website. So PACFA is the Psychotherapy and Counselling Federation of Australia. And I'm going to click to another tab. So on here you can see this graphic is about what is PACFA. So PACFA is an Australian accrediting peak body for psychotherapists and counsellors. So under that umbrella of psychotherapy and counselling in Australia, there's actually over 10,000 members of PACFA. So PACFA has a very strong membership, and because of that, it has a very robust voice when it comes to advocacy and relationship building for our field. So in here you can see that PACFA does a number of roles, including being a registering body, offering continuing professional development, having branches in the different states and territories, having publications and information engagement, lots of stakeholder relations with various health and mental health and allied health organisations around the country. And then up here, there's the professional identification colleges. So under that umbrella of psychotherapy and counselling, practitioners have their own areas of specialisation under the umbrella of PACFA. And so that includes counselling, supervision, Indigenous healing practices, relationship counsellors, psychotherapy, and here we have our own college to give us our own professional identity within PACFA, and that is CCAT, the College of Creative and Experiential Therapies. What do you think of that?
I think it's fabulous.
What's fabulous about it?
Well, when I was studying and starting to ask the question of, when I graduate, who am I going to join as to be registered with and be accredited by? and PACFA was coming up. So the process of the College of Creative and Experiential Therapies developing, I was able to follow that and start to decide, oh yeah, PACFA really is going to be able to offer a home for me once I'm graduated, and that it's within Australia as well. I really, I appreciate that it's within Australia. That feels much more like a home for me.
So having that Australian focus rather than an international focus?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that I know members, you know, that I can connect with and network with and know other members in that home within PACFA as an art therapist.
Beautiful. So for me, as the convener of the College of Creative and Experiential Therapies, I was part of developing, the working group and working alongside a whole group, I think it was about 45 people who worked together to develop the proposal for the college. And really significantly, what the existence of the College of Creative and Experiential Therapies within PACFA does is it positions creative and experiential therapies as recognised modalities under the umbrella of counselling and psychotherapy. So why is that so important? Partially because PACFA has such a strong political and advocacy voice that we can actually be part of. It's also probably important to, while we're having our little tour around the context, I thought I'd share another page with you. And this is the website of AHPA, which is Allied Health Professions Australia, not to be confused with AHPA, right? So you might know that AHPA is responsible for registering professions like psychology and occupational therapy, nursing, a lot of the professions that you'll typically see as listed when organisations are looking for a mental health professional. So Allied Health Professions Australia also represents a whole lot of different professions, and PACFA is a full member association of AHPA. That means that through my PACFA membership, I am recognised as an Australian allied health professional. Now, what I'm going to show you here is really important for you to understand. If you are a Bachelor Qualified Arts Therapist, you'll see we do have art therapy listed, or arts therapy listed as its own profession here in AHPA, and we also have counsellors and psychotherapists listed. So I'm just going to show you what's in here in the art therapy section. So you can read all of this, you can look it up yourself. But when we come down here to how are arts therapists qualified, we see that in order to practice the following requirements must be met: complete a minimum 2 years master's degree and complete a minimum of 750 hours of supervised clinical placement. That's if you join with that association. If we go back, okay, so the reason I'm showing you this is if you're a Bachelor Qualified Creative Arts Therapist, you are excluded from this category, all right? If you come back here and you go into counsellors and psychotherapists, and you'll see how are counsellors and psychotherapists qualified. Registered clinical counsellors and psychotherapists must have relevant tertiary qualifications, bachelor or above level, plus your 750 hours of clinical experience, which you can accrue over, the couple of years after joining. So you become a registered clinical counsellor once you've done 750 years. But in PACFA, straight after you qualify with your bachelor's degree, you can become a certified practicing counsellor. And that means that you are a full registered member of PACFA. It's not a tier, And it's not like a different level that excludes you from full membership. You're a full membership as soon as you join as a new graduate. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that people understood this. So what I'm telling you is that as a Bachelor Qualified Arts Therapist, you can join PACFA and have all the rights and privileges of any other full registered practicing professional allied health professional member. Right. So why is that meaningful for you, Erin?
Because that's what I did. So with my AQF level 7 bachelor degree from ICON, as a newly graduated arts therapist, I was able to join PACFA within that counsellors and psychotherapist category, to become a fully registered member or registrant, to receive my certified practicing badge, and to then begin work under my qualification as an arts therapist.
Okay.
Yep.
So you qualified with your bachelor degree, you went through the process of joining PACFA. Were there any obstacles placed in your way? Did they ever say, sorry, no, you don't qualify?
No.
No? Okay.
None. It
okay.
really was that simple.
Okay, it was simple
Yeah.
to join. Were you made to feel welcome?
I was made to feel welcome and supported to apply as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and since joining, you were also able to get your professional indemnity insurance through PACFA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and go straight into practicing as an independent practitioner, private practice.
As an arts therapist.
As an arts therapist.
Yep.
So, tell me, Erin, do you in your work work with people in the community?
I do.
Yeah. And do any of them have NDIS funding?
They do.
And do they use that funding to use your services as a PACFA registered arts therapist?
They absolutely do.
They do?
Yes.
And how do you go about doing that? Is there any trouble with that?
So, as a PACFA member with a certified practicing counsellor badge, I'm able to work with NDIS participants under a certain NDIS code that recognises me as an arts therapist in the other category.
Other. And that's because you're PACFA registered, and you've got a bachelor degree. You don't fit in the category called art therapy, but you fit in the therapeutic supports category under the heading of other.
That's right.
And that's the one I use too. Yeah, because I also see work with people who have NDIS funding. Yeah. So it hasn't been a barrier to me. It hasn't been a barrier to you. Yeah. And it's exactly the same pay rate, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I call myself a creative arts therapist, so I'm quite happy to use the other category. It also means I can provide, counselling if people want to do that, or I can work intermodally, which I often do, incorporating mindfulness practices or embodied practices. So the other therapeutic category, suits me perfectly well, and it doesn't concern me in the slightest. Is there anything else that you think is worthwhile mentioning from your perspective of being a PACFA registered art therapist?
Well, I didn't mention that it's in private practice, or did I? Not
Go ahead.
specifically. Yeah, so I've been able to do all of this as a brand new graduate, stepping straight into private practice.
Yep.
PACFA's been able to support me by recognising that my level of qualification meets their rigorous standards, to step straight out into private practice.
Yep.
And charging under this other category if the participant's NDIS. But then I should mention not all of my participants are NDIS either. I'm still able to receive self-referred clients or participants as well. Yep.
Yep. And so I can also vouch for, you know, being a PACFA registered creative arts therapist myself. I get referrals from various different agencies. In fact, since I moved my membership to PACFA, the scope of my work has actually opened up. Yeah, so I, as many people do, I work with people who get referred through family violence organisations, and I've also been fortunate to work with veterans in our local community, so with funding that was supported through the Department of Veterans Affairs. I know lots of my colleagues in PACFA are working with people who access their services using their private health funding, because PACFA actually have great relationships and agreements with a big number of private health funds, including BUPA, Australia's biggest private health fund. Yeah, is there anything else that you think people might want to know about to help? I guess what we've picked up on is that people are a bit anxious. We've made this video, we just want to reassure you that it's absolutely fine. Your bachelor's degree is a professional qualification. It's recognised by the Australian government. It's an AQF level. It's a tertiary qualification, and AHPA recognise bachelor level and higher qualifications to be an allied health professional in Australia. This is my message. Why am I so passionate about sharing this message? Because I have worked with so many wonderful students and graduates who are bachelor's qualified, and I know that you do amazing and brilliant work, and that you deserve to be treated as full members with full membership rights and registration rights, and our community needs us out there working. So that's why I'm passionate about it. I want to help you all get out there and serving your communities as you're trained to do.
Yeah, just being able to do the work, that's what means the most to me. There was no hurdle. I was able to finish my studies and step straight out and do the work. That means so much to me. And to all of us.
Cool. So we really hope that you can take something out of our session today. Thanks for watching, and keep in touch.